A quick search of Blackberry on Google pulls up information on the company. But next is a list of questions. Questions people ask about the company. When will Blackberry release their next phone? Is Blackberry dead? Are Blackberry phones available? Are Blackberry phones worth buying in 2021? I bet you these results were way different 15 years ago. The search results would have shown info on the company and their various new products that were making the headlines. Blackberry was the king of phones in the days before iPhones and Androids. The story of Blackberry might be a classic example of a company that rose from rags to riches and fell from grace to grass. It's always a sad conversation to have when the Blackberry topic pops up. Blackberry, originally known as Research in Motion, RIM, is a Canadian multinational company that specializes in enterprise software and the Internet of Things. Blackberry made pagers, mobile, smartphones, and tablets. Currently, the Canadian company is more like a software-focused company that produces software and provides services on cybersecurity. The rise of Blackberry. Blackberry was founded in 1984 as Research in Motion by Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Fregin. In 1992, Lazaridis hired Jim Balsley, and Lazaridis and Balsley served as co-CEOs until January 22, 2012. At first, Blackberry was mostly involved in random projects, an LED system for General Motors, modems, a local network for IBM. One time, the company even made a film editing system that won an award at the Oscars in 1998. Blackberry's glory days. Blackberry's first mobile phone, the Blackberry 957, targeted the corporate society. It was connected to the internet, secure, and could send and receive emails. The corporate society accepted the device in good faith since it could offer them the luxury of doing office work at home. The company started amassing millions of customers because of its consistency in the release of smartphones. With improved specs and newer features, the company kept pushing more and more features to its devices. Phones like the 7200 series, the 8700, the Bold 900 series, and many more were global successes. For example, in 2006, they introduced the trackball user could use in scrolling around the screen, which distinguished their phones from phones around that era. Blackberry had made the perfect smartphone, and people would line up to get these handsets when they were released. With a simple design, a fully integrated physical QWERTY keyboard to help text and browse, and Blackberry's revolutionary messenger, BBM, for the best in productivity when it came to mobile phones. It was either Blackberry or nothing else. Crackberry, or better still Blackberry, had come to stay and were a winning streak. The term crackberry was coined from the fusion of the words blackberry and crack. Cocaine claiming the street name crack, it was simple to get the phrase crackberry since many Blackberry fans were addicted to their devices as junkies were addicted to cocaine. The Blackberry phones connected each user to friends and family through BBM, and customers just couldn't leave it. The peak. By 2007, the company was making more than $3 billion in revenue, with a net income of $631 million. Blackberry controlled 50% of the smartphone market in the US and 20% globally. In comparison to current statistics, Apple had the largest smartphone market share globally with 23.4% as of the fourth quarter of 2020. Considering how popular iPhones are these days, Blackberry was just the iPhones of their era. In 2009, Blackberry was named the fastest growing business on the planet by the BBC. At its peak in 2011, the company sold more than 50 million units of mobile phones. Then, here comes the billion-dollar question. How did Blackberry fall? The company's fall can be contributed to a number of reasons. the launch of the iPhone, the change in smartphone form factor, BlackBerry's slow approach in adapting to change. Sometimes when people ask what happened to BlackBerry, I reply, the iPhone happened, and smile. The Apple iPhone was the beginning of the end for BlackBerry. They are essentially the executioners of the Canadian company. Everything was well with BlackBerry until the first iPhone got released in 2007. Steve Jobs had launched the first iPhone, and it was like nothing we've seen before. Initially, BlackBerry didn't see the iPhone as a threat. It had a touch display in a time everybody was accustomed to a physical keyboard. It didn't have their beloved BBM, which was exclusive to BlackBerry users only. It was way expensive and was stuck on one carrier, AT&T. BlackBerry was topping US markets, and it seemed no company was catching up with them anytime soon. Research in Motion, otherwise known as RIM, knew Apple would just give up on making phones after a year or two. They learned something from Apple though, releasing the Storm, a touchscreen device that gathered lots of bad reviews and response for its slow and buggy performance. And to make matters worse, the handset had major issues with its touchscreen, which resulted in Verizon having to replace almost 1 million units to the tune of $500 million in losses. The iPhone 4 was the game changer. Whilst BlackBerry was making their classic QWERTY keyboard and flip phones, the iPhone was steadily improving on its form factor, its software, its app store, and moving to other network carriers. People were adapting to the usage of touchscreen and were willing to pay more to get the iOS experience. Apple sold 1.4 million iPhones in 2007. By 2011, it was shipping 72.2 million iPhones per year, according to market watchers. The iPhone had shaken RIM the year before, chasing them in the race to lead the US phone market. It had forced BlackBerry to release its own touch devices, the Playbook and the Torch. The Playbook didn't even ship with an email app. The company savored huge criticism for these devices. iPhone 4 was the done deal. Its sales surpassed RIM's BlackBerry and never left the top spot. People had come to like the iPhone, and slowly, BlackBerry was fading. Part of the company's failure was due to the fact that apart from the iPhone, Android had gotten into the game with competitors like Motorola releasing their Droid, which was doing well in the smartphone market. These smartphone failures ultimately led to RIM's downfall. RIM's global market share began to shrink, going from 20% in 2009 to less than 5% in 2012. RIM realized how much they had underestimated the smartphone market to respond to change and released a good, competitive touchscreen device in 2013, but it was too late. Smartphone users had already changed their smartphone preferences to either iPhones or Android. The dying moments of BlackBerry. That same year, RIM officially changed its name to BlackBerry. BlackBerry thought its customers, after everything, were still loyal to them and would come back. BlackBerry kept releasing devices that weren't very much of a success. In the last quarter of 2016, BlackBerry was recognized to have a 0% market share in the global smartphone sales, managing to sell only 207,900 BlackBerry devices out of 432 million phones worldwide. BlackBerry had one last chance to redeem itself. In 2016, Chinese consumer electronic company TCL went into a deal with BlackBerry. The deal was for TCL to design and manufacture BlackBerry hardware, while the BlackBerry company provides the software. But, as expected, BlackBerry joined the Android game too late. BlackBerry Now. The last of BlackBerry's devices seen on the market was the Key 2 from 2018. The phone had some great internals and has the iconic keyboard for a bit of nostalgia, I guess. The smartphone market is subject to change. RIM's biggest mistake was thinking people wouldn't give up on their QWERTY keyboard. Lack of innovation killed BlackBerry. BlackBerry just failed to innovate. Some few Blackberry fans still have hopes of a new device someday, which I doubt will happen, but if it does, we hope to see something new from Blackberry, something to claim their lost glory. But do you think Blackberry will make a comeback? And if they do, will you be willing to purchase their phones? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next one.